If you're watching this video right now, you're extremely lucky. Why? Because right now you can change your life forever. We have life-changing opportunity in the market that you should not miss at any cost. The fear and greed index, we'll start with this, is sitting at the worst level since this index was ever created. We are sitting at extreme fear. We're almost close to capitulation. And if you're watching my videos regularly, I shared my Bitcoin's price analysis yesterday where I see we are finding the bottom and when we should start buying projects. And I've already started buying. If you want to see what I'm buying, what I'm selling, feel free to join Discord. It's available there, all the movements that I make within my portfolio. Going back to Bitcoin's chart, if you watch my video from yesterday, I said that I personally think we are finding the bottom at around this zone over here that you see on orange between the 65 and 59k level. This is where I personally see the bottom, and this is where I start buying Bitcoin and all the altcoins. Why? Because this is a strong support zone, and this is the previous high from the previous cycle, just over here. And we've dropped to this level very quickly yesterday. We touched the 59k level and Bitcoin bounced back immediately to the 364k level because a lot of big whales have made their buy orders at that level, because this is a very strong support level, which I personally think is indicating where the bottom is. And this is the pattern that we followed in the previous cycle. If you check in 2018, 2022 bottom was exactly where the previous high in 2018 was for Bitcoin. So we're following this tendency, and we are almost touching the 200 moving average, which is another key indicator. So in my opinion, we are very close to reaching the bottom. What we might see is now consolidating within this range here for a little bit before we start moving to the upside. What I want to tell you is that moving to the upside, I think, would happen pretty quickly. Yes, we would see consolidation, but this consolidation would be slightly tilted to the upside until we reach the recent all-time high, which we had back in October, and then move to new all-time high. I personally see Bitcoin reaching 200k by the end of this year. This is, I think, where we would see Bitcoin, or potentially next year. But we're going to move to the upside pretty soon. This move would be pretty quick as well. So why I'm sharing this? Because I think we're reaching a key zone where you should start accumulating altcoins. I personally started. I'm bullish on Caspa, I'm bullish on Sui, bullish on Solana, Sei, all these projects that have strong fundamentals and good potential for 2026. I might be wrong here. For example, nobody can time the bottom perfectly, and we should not be aiming for the exact bottom. That's why we have the so-called DCA strategy, dollar cost averaging. Never go all in. I'm starting now to scale in. I bought Bitcoin. There was an alert yesterday on my Discord. I bought Solana. I bought Sui so far at those prices. We'll go through those in a second. But I don't go all in. I'm prepared if market moves further to the downside, goes back to 59k level, let's say, or even below that. I am ready to start buying more. So I find the middle ground. What is best to do right now? I think we're at a very good buy zone right now, and if you have the chance to buy, please do, because this will be life-changing for you over the next year or so. Ethereum is pretty much bottomed out in my opinion. It's following this trend line over here. We touched it, and I think we're gonna see Ethereum rebouncing pretty quickly from this point onwards. Another project which I'm very bullish on is Solana. I bought Solana in the 70s. I personally think that Solana has a little bit more potential to go to the downside, maybe around $60, potentially $50-$60. But I would not wait for this exact movement. I'm buying Solana in the $70 range. If it drops further down, I would buy more, but I would not just wait. I'm starting now because some of these altcoins might surprise us with their recovery. It could be very violent and quick, and we might miss the chance. So rather than just waiting, I think Bitcoin, as I said, it has entered my price zone for buying, which is the lower 60s. We are now there, so I'm starting to scale into the altcoins. Sui, if we look at Sui, it has also entered my buy zone, my initial buy zone. If you were with me on Discord, I was probably one of the first influencers talking about Sui back in the early 2024, when Sui was only 80, 70, 60 cents. We sold some here at the top when Sui reached almost $5. We sold a little bit, and I kept maybe 20% of my or 30% of my original position over here. And now we're coming back to the zone where I would start buying heavily, because C for me is a top performer in 2026 and beyond that. So as you can see, we're almost reaching this initial buying zone that we had on Discord, and I'll start buying back in. I've already started, but I'll continue buying C. Other projects, we talked about Caspo yesterday. I'm bullish on Caspo. I never lost my conviction. The team is working very hard, making upgrades and scaling Caspo. I believe in this project for the long term, one that I think you should hold. Apart from Caspo, and we're gonna see the comeback for Caspo first compared to all the other altcoins. I've been telling you since I am here, since Caspo entered the bear market early last year, I've been telling you this would be the project. Once all the altcoins start bleeding, Caspo would be the one to start moving to the upside. Not all altcoins move exactly in the same way. Some have their own paths, their own ways, and Caspo is one of those. It doesn't move together with the rest of the market. And I see the comeback for Caspo happening pretty soon. We've got SEI. SEI is slowly moving, very undervalued. I believe in this project because there is a lot of institutional interest, demand, small market cap, very undervalued as a layer 1. And they're making a lot of upgrades. They're trying to make it one of the fastest layer 1 out there. Good project. I'm accumulating, not going all in on SEI as of now yet, because we can see it's a new project and its structure is not very clear. It looks like we've reached the bottom, but there is probably more to go to the downside. So I'm waiting patiently on SEI. I have pretty big back already. Anyway, that I'm holding. Of course, you don't have to focus on the same projects as me. You can choose completely different projects that you have conviction in, that you understand, that you believe in, and accumulate those. All I'm trying to say is that now is the perfect time to start thinking, to start not only thinking, but start moving, start making the moves to accumulate. These would be life-changing opportunities. So make sure you take advantage of this. We have almost reached the bottom here. So take advantage and make a move. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.